What's going on, far, far away family? How's everybody doing today? Everybody doing good? Welcome to Lifesaver Radio, the most outrageous Star Wars show on the web. Now today's show is going to be, it's going to be more directed to somebody that is just getting into the Star Wars universe. You know, they're just getting a feel for it. But they're feeling a little bit lost, you know what I'm saying? They don't really know where to get started at. You know, they might have watched Ahsoka, but they're like, okay, where do I start on the rest of the fucking content? Don't hit the panic button yet.
It's going to be good for veteran fans too, trust me.
You're in the right starship with today's video. Imagine you're in a hyperspace route to enjoy Star Wars with the cosmic, without the cosmic heading. We'll provide you some tips on how to get started. Expect some laugh, some awe moments, and maybe even a Wookiee impression or two. So strap in, get ready to blast off to the far, far away. As the easy way, lightsabers and droids are optional, but are highly recommended. But first, we gotta drop that motherfucking that intro video.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
Feeling about this.
You are now if you only knew the power of God's.
Here it comes. Let's go.
You are now tuned into Icebreaker Radio. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello there.
Okay, so in a galaxy not so far, far away, George Lucas created the ultimate universe to expand a person's imagination. And since that fateful day in 1977, there has been a lot of Star Wars content created. There's 12 movies, full-length features, too many TV shows to name, and there's books, comics, video games. There's just a lot of content to consume.
There's a whole lot of shit.
The average person thinking about getting into Star Wars Galaxy might not even know where to get started. And that's what we'll be talking about today. So are you ready to journey into this labyrinth of Star Wars content? Because before we get started, now some people might not understand what's about to happen, because if you're not a Star Wars fan and this is the first time you're viewing something on YouTube to get you an idea of where to start, you're not going to understand what's going on right now, but just be patient. We're going to get to it. But we have a tradition here at Lightsaber Radio.
Yes.
And this tradition is something that we've done on every show for a very, very long time. So just be patient. This won't take that long. We got to get our outrageous juices flowing. You know, we got to get out there. So we do something called the Icebreaker. It is a Star Wars pun to an icebreaker. If you don't understand what it is, Hoth is a frozen planet in Star Wars, and it's like just covered in ice and snow. So that's why we call it the Icebreaker. Garrison is going to ask us a crazy question, and we're going to try to give you guys our most outrageous answer. So let's jump right into it.
Ooh. Great intro.
So
Great intro.
Before we get really far into it, first off, Mr. Garrison has COVID AIDS. He got herpes simplex part 7. Herpes syphilis. He got something. He's sick, damn it. He's sick. So if you see him sneezing or if he shuts off the screen to throw up right quick,
I'm sorry.
Because he's pushing through it. He's being a soldier. He's part
It's
of the.
great. I feel great. My body doesn't think so, but I think I feel fine.
Just want to say what's up to Dr. Skywalker 716. He hasn't been in the chat for a while. Welcome back. And then what's up to Star Wars team leader. And then before we get too far started, let me turn my damn phone off because it's just over here beeping like a mug. I forgot to do it.
All right.
It's like,
so this Icebreaker is going to be tied into the theme of the show. If you could go back and rewatch Star Wars, like wipe your mind blank, what would you do? Would you do anything differently?
That's kind of hard. Holy shit. That's a hard ass question.
Yeah.
I don't think I would do anything different. Well, now that like with everything being out, I know I'm watching all George's shit first. I know
Yeah.
I would keep that the same. That's like, you have to do that first. And that's like one of the tips that I got for today is you got to watch George's shit.
You got to start with the original.
You got to start with the originals or the prequel trilogy. You can start
Right.
with either one of them too, but you
Exactly.
got to watch them two first. You can't watch
Because you get
their
such,
sequel
it's such a
trilogy.
better perspective when you start.
Well,
as
you'll
that is
understand
the
what's going
base.
on when you get
Yeah.
to the other shit. You're not going to understand what's going on if you just jump into,
Right.
the Rise of Skywalker at the very end. You're going to be like, who is all these people? Who cares? You got to start back with George. George gives way better. He's a better storyteller. He created it. He knows what to do with it. But I don't think I would do anything differently. I mean, honestly, I just don't think it would be like, I enjoyed the way that I did it. But if I didn't know anything, I would just keep it in order. I would just go everything in order. And then you would we probably wouldn't be confused about as much shit if you just went in order. But, yeah, and I really wish there wasn't like a fucking 20-year hiatus between Star Wars. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't have had to wait all that time. I could have just got all the content out and just watched it all.
So you would binge everything, or would because I liked the fact that we kind of grew up. Well, you grew up a little bit earlier than I did, but grew up with the originals first, then got the sequels. And then waited a long time before other Star Wars content came out.
Well,
so you really had to make do with the original movies before you watch the other stuff. You know,
and
what I mean?
appreciate that, but at the same time, as many times in my life as I've watched watched it all, like just binge watched it all. Just took a month and just watched everything. Just came home, watched it until I go to sleep, then get up. You know what I'm saying? Go to work. Come home, watch it, weekends, watch it all. Because it's a lot of content.
There's a lot.
And they just coming out with more and more content, every couple months. So it's really hard. Yeah, I don't, it's hard to say because I enjoyed the way that I got to consume, but now watching it, binge watching it like that, it's so much content. It's so hard to remember. If I think thinking back now, if I hadn't seen it all, when it came out, it would be so much more to intake, especially with the books.
Right.
Star Wars team leader said I would have listened to the book, so I wouldn't be heartbroken when they did away with it.
Oh. You wouldn't listen
See,
to the
my
book.
thing is this. I think I would have stuck directly with canon until it was completely finished. Like right now, I'd watch everything up to Ahsoka. And then I would have went back and listened to the books because then it would have revealed more of the character arcs of some of the characters within the stories. Especially when you go back and you listen to Bane and, you know what I'm saying? Because then you would have you'd have got really captured by the Rule of Two and stuff like that because you wouldn't have known what it meant, where it came from, how did it get there, and then all of a sudden to find out. That was one of the greatest things about reading or listening to the Bane trilogy or Revan, because you hear about these characters, you know what I'm saying, and you don't know where their place is in the movies and in the cartoons and stuff, and then you go back and you listen to the book. I had already listened to the book before I ever even knew about the Rule of Two. So it was I already knew what they were talking about. It kind of took away the mystery of it.
Mystery.
Yeah.
Well, that's the cool thing about Star Wars is there's an explanation for almost everything. There's so much there where you can get as deep into it as you want, or you can just enjoy it as it happens. You know what I mean? If you're the casual viewer, you can just watch the movies and just be fine with that. But then if you're really into the deep lore of it, there's so much more to learn and get into.
The only thing I really regret is I never got into the comics. And now it's too late. There's too many comics. I ain't got time to go back and do all the comics.
I'm kind of the
I
same
just don't
way.
have the time for that.
I
heard some of the comics
in the
are
chat.
great.
If anybody knows good Vader comics, I could read that, because I know there's a comic about Vader where he's surrounded by I just want a badass Vader, and we don't see
There's a
that in the
bunch of
movies
them.
anymore. I just want to see Vader killing and fucking shit up. Okay, so if anybody knows a good comic with that, let me know.
So, but yeah, if it was up to me and I could redo anything, I would have went and I would have watched all the movies first and all the animated series. Just watched everything chronologically, and then I would have went back and listened to the books, and that way I'd have got way more. I wasn't some of the things wouldn't have got like I already knew who. Oh come on, man! Thrawn was before I seen him in Rebels, so it took away the mysterious of him. It took away a lot for me to not, because I already knew who he was. I already listened to the books. I already listened to Here to the Empire. I already listened to to all the books. So it just took away the mysterious, the mystery of who this character is. It didn't let me get the full effect because I already knew who he was. And I think if I'd have never listened to the books, then it would have made it way better. I think and I'll go down and when we get into the topic of today, that's, I got some tips and, some things that just my personal opinion on how I think things should have been done, or how I think, somebody new coming in, and we'll get into that. But, I think these tips are very good because I really sat down and thought about it and said, how would have rather think? And that's one of the things that kind of ruined things for me, and it ruined the mysteriousness of characters, and it made the character like he's not, I heard the books, so it's not big of a deal that Thrawn is there. He's not all that, you know what I'm saying? Instead of being like, holy shit, who is this blue guy that's just coming in and he just looking at art, and I just knew everything about him already. So it kind of ruined it for me.
Yeah. Coming from someone who the first time I interacted with Thrawn was through shows. It wasn't the books. And then learning about the books, I like the extra knowledge that the books offer with Thrawn, because Thrawn's that type of character where
yeah,
learning
but
about
see,
how
that's the
thinks,
thing. You've seen him first. You got to see him first, so it didn't take away the mysterious of him when you was watching Rebels the first time we seen him in live action, or you seen Thrawn. You're like, who is this blue guy? What is he doing? Why is he the only one in the entire galaxy that looks like him, blue with red eyes? He's like a freaking blood and crit put together. You know what I'm saying?
No,
who is this dude?
What I'm saying, the lack of mystery, knowing his backstory gives a lot more insight into his character.
Yeah,
and I like
but
that.
I would much rather have got the backstory after I was introduced to him in a TV show.
I get that.
I knew about him before I ever even I was like, I wonder if they're ever going to bring Thrawn in, and then they brought Thrawn in, and I was like, it wasn't a surprise to me. It was kind of like knowing about Mara Jade. If they ever did anything about Mara Jade, I know about Mara Jade. So it's not going to be that big of a deal to me. Or the Yu Zhang Vong, if they decided to do something with that, it's not going to be that big of a deal to me. But if I never knew about these characters, I'm always surprised with, that's one of the things I like about Balin, is because who is this guy? I've never heard of this guy before. You know what I'm saying? So, I want to know more about him. If I've already listened to 8 books about a character, you know what I'm saying, and then they bring a character in, that character in, there's no surprise to me. But if they bring in a character that I know nothing about, it always intrigues me more. Just like the Mandalorian. That's one of the things that made the Mandalorian so good. This is a brand new character. There was no Mandalorian. And, Din Djarin didn't exist. And for them to bring him in, a brand new character, a brand new show, brand new everything, it's refreshing. And then I was able to be surprised. And I like being surprised. That's one of the things that George intended for the series, is to let your imagination go, to be surprised, to be like, oh my God, there's Darth Vader's Luke's. Oh, I don't want to say that. Just in case you don't know. But yeah, I want to be more surprised. I want to have that's what makes Star Wars good, is when they bring in new characters and you're surprised. And
I don't know. I think that one everybody knows.
I think everybody knows that, but I still don't want to say it, because
But all right, so how would you get started? Someone brand new into Star Wars. I think you start with the movies. I say watch the first 6 movies. Probably watch them a couple times before you get into anything else.
So nowadays, every few months, maybe more, the planet erupts in, Jedi-fueled pandemonium. You know what I'm saying? Some new Star Wars comes out, and that's whether it's a new film, TV series, or video game. Something's coming out. New books, new, comics, something's coming out. And the fandom just goes apeshit. And, if you're a person that wants to come in and be able to be compatible in a conversation about Star Wars, you're going to have some information. But at the same time, you don't want to just fucking flood your fucking brain with just all the information at once. You got to take time. You got to enjoy it. So, like,
plus, I'm sure any Star Wars fan would be happy to share their opinions with you if you don't know.
Well, my first tip is pace yourself. Don't try to binge watch the whole thing in a month.
I agree.
There's enough content. You can binge watch it all. It's going to take you about a month. Because, like, freaking 22 some hours just of movies.
I think it's better if you sit with it. Watch it, think about it, watch it again, think about it some more. Like, don't binge.
Yeah, it's tempting to cram all Star Wars into one looming marathon. And it's almost impossible to do because you'd have to have, like, a week off to do it 24 hours a day or, at least 16 hours a day. And you probably still wouldn't have enough time to take it all in because there's 7 seasons of Clone Wars. There's 5 seasons of Rebels. There's, there's just too much. You know what I'm saying? It's going to take you about a month if you tried to binge watch it.
But the great thing about it is, like, it depends what you're looking for. Because, like, if you're looking for just, like, an easy plot to follow, you can do that with Star Wars. But then if you're looking to get a lot deeper, there's stuff still there. Like, that's why I like the original 6 movies so much is, like, it's good enough to just be sit casual watch. There's also, like, enough backstory and depth that you can, like, really get into it.
You either watch it as it was released or watch it in order. Some say there's no wrong or right way to start exploring Star Wars. And this, I cannot stress this enough. That is completely untrue. There is a way that you need to watch Star Wars. And that's a problem with a lot of the toxic fandom that's going around because you got people that came in and the first thing they seen was the sequel trilogy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Which I'm happy that they got involved in Star Wars, but then they want to argue with you about the original and the sequel trilogy after they watch it. Oh, them are just meaningless. They're pointless. Luke was a punk. No, man, you guys are fucking crazy. I'm telling you right now, George did the middle first for a reason. And you can watch it the way he designed it to be watched. But if you watch the sequels first, you will be lost. You're not going to understand what's going on. Those are Disney
I don't think
films.
There's any reason to watch the sequels first.
Those are Disney films. If you're just coming into Star Wars, they are not the same as the George Lucas films. Same with the animated series. You can't come in and watch, the Bad Batch and then go back and watch the Clone Wars. It's not gonna make it sense. It's gonna be all discombobulated. But I would say, from the bottom of my heart, watch George's stuff first. And it doesn't matter in which way you watch it. You can watch the originals first and then the prequels first, like they came out, or you can watch the prequels all the way to the original. It doesn't make a difference in that part because it's the same character. It's based on Anakin Skywalker, Darth Vader. That's what the whole sequel and original trilogy is based on. It's based on his character, so it will make sense. If you go watch the sequel, you don't even know who Darth Vader is when Kylo Ren is talking about Darth Vader. You don't know why he is so important to the storyline of Star Wars. You're not going to understand. You're not going to understand why Kylo Ren wants to live up to Darth Vader. You're not going to understand that. It's not going to make no sense. Go and watch George's stuff first. Go in, watch, and you can watch it. You don't even if you want to watch the movies and the animated series together. Go in and watch the Phantom Menace. Watch the Clone Wars. Then watch and then watch the Clone Wars animated series. Then watch, and just go down the thing and watch Rebels and, before you watch A New Hope and watch that and just go in order. You can go right in order. Don't even worry about the TV shows. You can go right in order. Then you can go from season 7 of Clone Wars. You can go into the Bad Batch because that leads right into that, and then you can go into Rebels because that's right around the same time. You can incorporate some of the Disney stuff in there, but make sure that you're watching the George stuff first, because that's going to give you the ultimate expression of who things is. And that even, and I'm not putting Disney down, because you can watch Andor in there. You can watch Solo in there. You can add those in there as standalone movies, and they'll still make sense as long as you've watched watch them in order.
Right.
If you watch the originals and you can watch Andor, then you can watch the prequels, or however you want to do it. You can do that, but do not go into more of the Disney stuff.
Yeah. Well, whether
like the Mandalorian, everything after the Death Star, the second Death Star gets destroyed, which is in episode 6. Do not go past there and anything past the timeline until you've watched the beginning.
Right.
And that includes Obi-Wan Kenobi. Don't even watch Obi-Wan Kenobi, because that's just you're not even gonna understand what's going on with that, because it's not about Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah, and the tough part is like there's the divide between like Disney, Star Wars, and the rest of Star Wars. It's a different product. It's a different Star Wars. Yeah,
Well, I mean,
Disney bought the rights and they kind of continued on the story, but it is a different movie. All right, totally different.
It's a whole different experience.
It's a completely different kind of experience.
The internet can be a great, resource for finding Star Wars guys, but just be careful when you're looking at those Star Wars guys, because that's what a lot of people do. They go directly to the internet, they get to looking stuff up, and they say, "Oh man, you got to watch it in this order. You got to watch this," and then you know what I'm saying, you're going to get Disney stuff mixed in with the George Lucas stuff, which is not a bad thing as long as it fits in and it's a good story. Right. You don't want to watch Kenobi because you're going to be like, this doesn't even make sense. Like, we know that, like, I guess it would make sense to a certain extent if you watched Kenobi and then you watched A New Hope, because then you're going to just be questioning, well, why doesn't she remember Kenobi, instead of, saying, we know she didn't know Kenobi, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
I'd stay away from a lot of the Disney stuff until, one, you really like Star Wars. But also you're comfortable, like you've watched the originals a little bit and you kind of know who the characters are. I would stay away
watch
from
the
Disney
originals
stuff. I'd
and the
stay away
sequels
from
first.
shows. Just watch those original 6 movies and sit with that for a bit. Make sure you're good with it before moving on.
And then get into the animated series, because it just goes back in between stuff. Most of the animated series just goes into what's happening in between things. So they're like fillers. You know what I'm saying? They like fill in the gaps. And they're great. They're great series. Don't let nobody tell you don't watch the animated series. They're stupid, because they're going to fill you in on a lot of information you're going to need later on. Ask questions, find allies, talk, and talk theories. There's a shit ton. I guarantee you go to your job, you go to a park, you're going to find a Star Wars fan somewhere. Talk to other Star Wars fans. All the new friends you're going to make in this galaxy will blow your mind. Most Star Wars fans are eager to talk about Star Wars, even with folks totally new to the franchise. A question you might think is dumb, are droids slaves or something like that? We're more than open to talk to you about how the things actually work. They can spark up fascinating conversations about the topic of Star Wars. There's so much content, but you got to watch out for one thing, and that's when somebody tries to dump too much information on you, because their thoughts is going to, is going to be something that might be outside of the realm of what you already know. So they're going to get to talking about stuff and characters and things that you don't know about. Be like, hey, hold up, I haven't got that far. Just let them know I haven't got that far. This is where I'm at. I'll talk about this. I don't want to talk about that stuff because you don't want to be spoiled. There are always there aren't always definitive answers within Star Wars. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes Star Wars is meant not to be answered. One of the biggest questions ever is, where did Yoda come from? Most everybody knows who Yoda is. If you don't, you'll find out who Yoda is very fast in watching any of the Star Wars. Once you find out, nobody knows where Yoda come from. There's no definitive answers. There's never gonna. Well, hopefully Disney doesn't give us a definitive answer. That allows our imagination to work. You know what I'm saying? That's the reason George created Star Wars, is for us to get out of our mundane, day-to-day lives. We get an escape from everything. We can just be captivated within the Star Wars galaxy, watch the movies, the animated series, TV series, or whatever. And for that 30 minutes to 2-3 hours, however long it is that you're watching, you know what I'm saying, you don't have to worry about the rest of the world. You can pay attention to the world that you're watching, the Star Wars world, the Star Wars galaxy. So there's a lot. But it's a never bad thing to find friends and allies when you're on your adventure. There's many chat rooms. There's, so much things that you can talk to. There's many people that will love to talk to you. There's podcasts like this podcast. You can come on here and get in the
Our
chat.
chat is great. Be in the chat.
You know what I'm saying? There's so many other podcasts. There's, audio podcasts you can listen to. There's audio books you can listen to. There's just so much content. There's so many people that love Star Wars. You're not going to have any problems finding some Star Wars friends.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So how many times do you got to watch the originals before you start moving on? I say you got to watch the originals like 2-3 times, if I'm honest.
At least twice. I would
that
say,
might be a lot.
I don't know. If you watch them in order, if you watch,
I guess it
Phantom
depends what
Menace,
kind of viewer
Clone
you are, to be
Wars,
honest.
Revenge of the Sith, A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi, I don't think you need to watch it more than once. But if you come in and you watch watch the originals first, I think you need to watch it twice before you go to the prequels. But if you watch them in order, I don't think you need to watch them twice.
Right.
I think you'll understand the basic concept of who Anakin Skywalker and Darth Vader is, how the Empire came into control. You'll know all the basic concepts.
So do you like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3 better?
To me, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Like originally, I seen the original first because that was what was out. I watched them thousands of times before. Well, I'm not gonna say thousands. I can't remember exactly. Thousands seems like that's a lot. That's 6,000 hours of Star Wars before the prequels came out, or more than that. But I watched them a bunch. But that's just because I was born when the original was released, the year the original was released. So, of course, my whole childhood and teenage years, that's what I had to watch until Revenge of the Sith came out. I mean, not Revenge of the Sith, but Phantom Menace came out. So, but I have no problem with somebody. If somebody comes in and they start off at 1 and they watch through, they just watch it in order, that's fine. You know what I'm saying? There's no problem with doing it that way. But if you start off in the middle, like George released it, then I think that you should watch it a couple times. Really get engulfed with the characters. Find out what the likes and dislikes you have with the characters before you go to the prequels. Because when you go back to the prequels and you watch Anakin's rise to becoming Darth Vader, you will have so much more emotion behind it, and you'll have so much more invested. But if you just watch 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I don't think you need to watch. It's not going to make a difference because you're going to already know who Anakin is by the time you get to Darth Vader.
Right.
You can watch either way. Either way, I'm fine with you watching. Either way, you can watch it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or you can watch it 3, 4, 5, 6. 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3. You can watch it either way, as long as you watch George's stuff first.
It comes down to why you're watching it, I guess. If you're watching it because you want to know the big story, then in order is fine. But if you're watching it because I think George Lucas intended for you to get a little connected to the characters, understand this journey that Anakin and Darth Vader and Luke are on, and so I think 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3 works better when analyzing those characters, you know what I mean, and getting in that emotional connection.
Yeah, I mean, it's always better. That's the reason he did it the way that he did it. I believe,
Right.
I don't want to speak for him. I mean, I know I've heard him talk about why he did it in an interview, but I can't recall what it says. But either way, you can watch them. As long as you're watching George's stuff first. Now, don't start off in the Clone Wars and then jump to, jump to fucking Return of the Jedi and then jump back and watch Phantom Menace. It's not going to make no sense. Watch them in order, or watch 3, 4, 5, 6, and then go back and watch 1, 2, 3. Because if you watch 4, 5, 6 first, if you watch 4, 5, 6 first, you're gonna have an emotional. You're gonna hate Vader because of who he is, and then you're gonna love Luke. But then when you go back and watch the originals, you're gonna be like, oh shit, damn, that's messed up that it happened that way. But then at the same time, then you can understand what happened and everything. But either way, as long as you're watching George's stuff first, watch either in order or watch the original and then the prequel trilogy. You got to do it like that.
So the first 6 you watch first. All right. Yeah. They've sat with that for a bit. They love it. Where are they going next?
My next tip is keep things on the light side. This story is about robots, aliens, and space wizards. That's basically what it's about. Just let it be fun. Now, the flip side of the whole making friends suggestion is Star Wars discourse can truly get ugly. Really, really ugly. I mean, I'd be remiss to tell you to explore the Star Wars loving internet with reckless abandonment. I got to warn you that there's a lot of passionate fans out there that can be jerks. They're set in their ways and they're not willing to listen to anybody else's ideas. No matter what the conversation is, remember, your opinion is the opinion that matters. How you feel about it. It doesn't matter what I say. It doesn't matter what Garrison says. It doesn't matter what any other fan. How do you feel about it? Because there's things that I don't like that Garrison likes. There's things that Garrison likes that I don't like. There's things that other fans, some fans love the sequel trilogy. I'm not a big fan. Some people love Kenobi. Not a big fan. Some people love the Book of Boba Fett. Not a big fan. But there's things that I like that they didn't like. Right. That's the reality of Star Wars. And it can get very, very toxic if you're talking to the wrong people. Most Star Wars fans, I'm going to say it's probably a 50-50 divide, you know, when it comes to how people feel about Star Wars. But you're always going to have difference of opinion. It could be just two people talking about Star Wars and they have difference of opinion. Do not ever let it take away about the way you feel about Star Wars.
Don't take it personal.
Don't take it personal. You know what I'm saying? Some people love Jar Jar Binks. Some people hate him. You know what I'm saying? It's just the way that it is. One thing that's the most agreeable thing that I think I've ever heard is like 99% of all Star Wars fans hate the holiday special. Like I've only heard like 1 or 2 people say they like the holiday special.
I love the holiday special, but it's not because I love it. Like it sucks, but I just like the experience of watching it because you're just like, what the fuck?
You know, it's your opinion. Don't let nobody else deter your opinion. And if you find out that your opinion is wrong, it's okay to change your mind. You know what I'm saying? It is okay to be like, yeah, it wasn't that bad. Or, you know what I'm saying? I hate this. And then you watch it several more times. There's stuff that I've watched that I did not like at all when I first watched it. And then I watched it again. It's not that bad. And then I watched it again. And it's like, oh, it's better. You know what I'm saying? And then I watch it again. And it's like, oh, that's not that bad. You know what I'm saying? I kind of like it. So don't be stuck in your opinion. And don't let nobody change your opinion. It's your opinion. You can like what you want to like. And you can hate what you want to hate.
All right, so Star Wars team leader says the next movie you should watch is Solo. I don't know. I'd go Rogue One, but that's just because I like Rogue One better. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3.
Then watch
Either way, Solo and Rogue One, I think, are the next 2 movies you should watch.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter which order.
And then watch the sequel trilogy, because the sequel trilogy. And I'm just being honest, and it's not because I don't like it. It does
rewrites everything.
Yeah, it's not.
It's its own thing.
Yeah, it's its own thing. It's not. Even though it's 6, 7, or 7, 8, 9. It continues the storyline. It just doesn't do a very good job of doing it. Let's put it like that. Right. It's more like it's its own thing. They should have just started a whole new thing, called it something different, and made a trilogy. It wouldn't have been that bad. Yeah. Added some of the characters. You know, even had the continuous of the storyline, but let everybody know this is not part of the original trilogy or part of the Star Wars trilogy.
Yeah, Disney really wanted to make their own thing, their own mark, and so they kind of threw some things out, kind of, you know what I mean? So you have to view it as its own thing. And whether Disney, like, because some people like the Disney stuff, and good for them, but you have to admit that it is a very different kind of Star Wars.
It is. It's definitely a different from you can see the differences between the Disney stuff and the George Lucas stuff. You can see a big difference in the thing. So it's definitely. And then my last bit of advice or tip that I have for any Star Wars fan that's coming into this galaxy is relax and have fun watching it. Do not try to learn everything. I'm still learning stuff. I still learn new stuff all the time. I learn about new characters, and I've been in the Star Wars franchise for 46 years. Or since I can obviously probably not, at least 45 years because, well, no, I was probably younger than that when I seen Star Wars. I was probably about 4 or 5. But I can't, just for remembering wise, I'd say about 5 years old. Right. So for 41 years, I've been in Star Wars. I've been watching Star Wars, and I still learn new stuff all of the time.
Right.
Have fun.
Stay curious, but
enjoy watching it. The most important thing is to have a blast doing it. That's why George created it. You know what I'm saying? It will make you smile. It's going to make you cry. It's going to make you hold your breath. You're going to scream. You're going to get angry. You're going to be running around the house, being a grown man, swinging a stick like a lightsaber with your kids. If you ain't got no kids, you'll probably be just swinging it in the air just for the fun of it. That's what Star Wars was. But this is some of the best content ever created. It was meant to give us a break of our repeated daily lives that we're faced with day after day. It is there for you to enjoy and allow your imagination to run wild. So don't just relax and have fun with it. You know, don't try to, like we said earlier, do not try and take it all in at once. It's impossible. There's too much content. You know, it's like 22 hours and 40 minutes of just movies. And that's the 12 movies, including Star Wars, the Clone Wars animated movie, and that's including that. You know, so, and the holiday special, the actual movies that was released. And even though the holiday special was a TV release movie, it's still a movie. With that stuff, you just got to take it slow, enjoy it. Do not try to binge watch it. I just want to give you guys that bit of advice. That's like the biggest bit of advice. If you try to binge watch everything, you're just going to be confused. You're going to be wondering what's going on, how these things are happening. You have to take your time and enjoy watching it. You have to take your time and enjoy.
Everything is interconnected, right? So if you've just tried to rush through, you won't understand how things are connected. You know what I mean?
Just skip the Ewok movie. Yeah, that's not a real movie. I don't include that. I don't even think that was made by Lucasfilms. I think some random idiot made that. at least the holiday special was made by George Lucas. Lucas Films. It just wasn't very good, and George denied that he had any part of it. Chris is in the chat. He said, "Okay, guys, thought I would check in on pheasant hunting today, so can't stay long." Nice. Thanks for joining us, Chris. It's just enjoy yourself. It's so much fun to just enthrall yourself in Star Wars. And you might be captivated to just keep watching it, but let the stuff that you watch resonate with yourself for a little bit. Give time to process what you've seen before you jump into the next thing. Because it's very easy to just be like, this is good, and you just keep watching, and the next thing you know, you're confused, and you don't want to watch no more. You want to be able to take it all in. You want to get the information, and you want to have fun. So just relax, take your time. There's plenty of content, and there's more content coming out, so you're never going to run out of content. You got plenty of time.
And always come back here if you have any questions. We got you.
Yep. We are definitely here to answer any questions. Definitely. If you have any questions, put them in the chat. And if you watch this later, ask us questions in the comment section. We'll be more than likely, we'll be more than happy to come answer your questions. It's just so, like, Star Wars is so much fun. And I think a lot of times, people come, and I've done it before, jumped on a podcast and I listened to somebody just, boasting about how good the sequel trilogy is. And I'm like, I don't want to listen to this. And I'll click off. But as we've been watching the sequel trilogy, we watched The Rise of Skywalker. I mean, not The Rise of Skywalker, that's this month. We watched The Last Jedi. It's not a bad movie.
It's a bad movie.
You know, it's not a bad movie. It's not a bad movie. It's just not, to me, it's not part of the Star Wars that I grew up with. It's something totally different. So just like with The Force Awakens, it's not a bad movie. I mean, especially because we already seen a movie in A New Hope, but it's the same movie. It's not a bad movie. It's just not, I don't look at it as part of the original Star Wars experience. It's Star Wars, it's fun, but it's its own thing. You know what I'm saying? And if you watch it as its own thing and you don't incorporate it into the George Lucas part, they're not bad movies. They got some extremely good graphics. They got, you know, the storytelling is not bad. It's not terrible. It's just, they're good movies. It's just, they're not part of what George wanted it to be. And, you know, when Disney bought it, they threw out George's scripts on what he wanted to do. And they said, here, this is what we're going to do. Because it was actually supposed to come in at a different time period. So, and we discussed that on another episode. So if you want to know anything about George Lucas's idea for the sequel trilogy, go back and listen to that video. But there's a lot to it, and it's not that hard. There's a lot of resources. Go check out the resources. Just anybody that says there's no wrong or right way to watch Star Wars, they're wrong. I'm telling you that right now.
There is a wrong
way. You do not want to go in watching the sequel trilogy. You're not going to understand who these characters are, and you're not going to understand what's going on without watching George's stuff first. So start at the beginning and work your way forward, or start in the middle, work your way back, and then work your way forward again. But do not watch George's stuff first. It's going to give you the best understanding of who the characters are. And then once you get done with all the stuff that you can watch on TV, get into the books. The books are amazing. But just remember that they're the expanded universe for a reason. And some of the things do not fit together with what's going on in the TV shows and what we know. That's why there's two different universes within the Star Wars universe. You have Legends and you have canon. Because some of the stuff within Legends fits within the canon stuff, but some of the stuff does not. It's like completely, like utterly just completely different. And you have to understand that. Because if you don't, and you get, I've met people that like read all the Star Wars books and never seen none of the Star Wars movies and stuff like that. And it's completely, they're completely lost when they come to canon. Like, who are these characters? Like, not even who are these characters, but like, why are these characters, why are they doing, they're better than this, or they're, like, Luke in Legends is fucking way doper than he is in the movie. You know what I'm saying? The stuff that these guys can do in the movie, in the books is way more than what they can do in the movies, because George had a set of rules that he followed, and in the books, they're different authors and they don't follow them same rules. That's why he created the extended universe.
Yeah, Anthony, YouTube fan in the chat, reflects, I think, what a lot of like original Star Wars fans feel. He says, the Disney sequel trilogy is not canon in my eyes. I will never watch those movies again. This supposed upcoming Rey focus, shock horror, new Jedi Order fills me with dread. I don't know. I'm kind of excited to see it. I agree with him, but
I'm kind of excited to see it because, like, I want to know what happened after the First Order lost. You know what? Like, it's the same suspenseful cliffhanger that they left us on with Empire Strikes Back. I want to know what happened after that, and it might be really, really good. But it's not something I'm kind of excited to see, but at the same time, I'm kind of dreading to see it because I know Disney's track record. You know what I'm saying? I know how Disney does stuff. But we also got new people in command. We got, you know, with Dave Filoni, he might go in and be like, nah, that's not going to work. We're not doing that. Or we got to change this. We don't know what's going to happen until it comes out. That's one of the great things about Star Wars is this, too. Is I was completely, like, I didn't at all want to watch Andor. Like, I was not excited for Andor at all. And it turned out to be one of my favorite TV series. So
it was very
you can be surprised. You can be surprised. And then there's other stuff, like I was really excited about Obi-Wan Kenobi and the Book of Boba Fett, and they both wasn't that good. Andor was way better than both of them. So you don't ever know because you don't know who's writing it. You don't know who's directing it. I mean, they tell you, but then they change. You don't ever really, that's one thing I can give it to Disney. You don't ever really know what the truth is. Until the stuff is out, done, and finished, and you watched it, then you start finding the truth about stuff, like who was really doing what and who did what, because they change stuff all the time. I mean, in The Mandalorian, there's been like, 19 different directors already? 18, 19 different directors in 3 seasons. So, like, you don't ever know what's going to happen. Like, you have no idea what's going to happen, who's going to do what. So, I try to be optimistic about things because it might be a good movie. I don't want to sit back and say it's not going to be a good movie and then I got to bite my tongue and, be like, all right, y'all, it was a good movie. Because I was sitting there talking shit about Andor and then Andor came out and it was great. It just didn't feel like Star Wars to me, but it's still a great movie. It's still a great TV series. Ahsoka, I was boasting about the whole dang time, and Ahsoka's good. But there was some stuff that I thought that they could have done way better on. But it felt like Star Wars to me. It felt like I was watching Star Wars again. So I had like a biased opinion about it. Because a lot of people said Ahsoka just was terrible. And I'm like, it wasn't terrible to me. And it gave me a character that I'm super intrigued about.
Yeah, that's another thing. If you don't know it already, like as a new fan, the divide between like Disney like content and whether fans like it or not, it's crazy.
So far, what I've noticed, like when you really look at polls and stuff like that, it's like a 50-50. It's like 50% of fans like it.
I don't think so.
Yeah, it's about 50-50. It's actually probably closer to 60-40. 60% of the fans like it, 40% of the fans don't like it. But I say 50-50 because I think some of those fans are just biased. They'll like anything that's Star Wars.
There's a lot of fans that are like that. They'll like anything Star Wars.
As long as it says Star Wars, it could be a turd on a screen just sitting there for 3 hours, and they'll say, yeah, it's the greatest Star Wars movie I ever seen. What are you talking about? It was a turd on a screen for 3 hours. It didn't even do anything. Yep. And they'll like it just because Star Wars is in the name. There's just fans out there that are just like that.
But I don't know. I lean more towards Anthony, where it's easier to view the sequel trilogy as just not.
They're not,
because it just doesn't make sense together.
So Anthony says, I know this much. This new Jedi Order better stay away from including Lucas, Filoni, Favreau, and other characters in the Rey story to beef it up and draw in general audience. They're not going to do that. I guarantee.
Oh, they're totally going to do that.
Well, the only reason they might not do that is because if they do, it's going to be like Baby Yoda or Grogu.
For a fact they're going to do that, Kyle.
They can't do too many characters because everybody's dead by the time this happens. You know what I'm saying?
True.
I don't think that there's a whole lot of characters that I know some characters survived the last battle. But I don't think that they're going to bring in I think they'll use more of the characters from the sequel trilogy.
That's
like
Disney's,
Zuri and
that's Disney's go-to move is ride off of like fan hype. And how are they going to get hype?
But I don't know how they can do it. Only person that I think that they can use with that, and I wouldn't mind seeing Baby Yoda in or older Baby Yoda or older Grogu in, the new Jedi movie or the new Rey movie, because that'd be kind of cool. He survived all this. You know what I'm saying? So that would be pretty cool to see him. But I just don't think there's a lot of people that's like still who you got. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people died during the wars, so I don't think there's not a lot of characters that they can bring in. You know what I'm saying? Han Solo's dead, Leia's dead, Luke's dead. I don't know if Hera made it. You know what I'm saying? We know Andor and them didn't make it. We seen all them die. You know what I'm saying? So they're just. They were dead before.
I don't see Disney putting that out without some fan service.
What's going on, Dion? I don't know what characters that they can really bring in that's going to be like really captivating characters.
Great point. Like, that's a fair point. I just like Disney's incapable of putting out that kind of content without some fan service.
Well, you got to understand that when you're continuing a storyline, you kind of got to bring characters in that was there before. You know what I'm saying? You're continuing a storyline. You're not making a whole new story. This is continuing the storyline. This is like, and basically they said the last Rise of Skywalker was supposed to be the last Skywalker movie, but she takes the Skywalker last name. So it's not really the last Skywalker movie because now she's a Skywalker because she looked over and said, I'm Rey Skywalker, and then she looked over and Leia and Luke give her the nod like it's okay, and you know what I'm saying, that's okay. So you're continuing the storyline. So 9 was not really the end of it.
Have they started filming this New Order Rey movie yet?
I don't think they started filming. I think they're still in the writing.
I don't even know if they're going to come out with it. Because, well, look, I'm just saying, look at all of Disney's most recent stuff. They've been having a hard time, dude.
Well, I know that's one of Bob Iger's go-to.
I think
he
they're going to go
push
through
more movies. Let's slow down on the.
I know, but I think a lot
series.
of those ideas, even like, I think they're going to have to.
Well, you got to understand, Rey has a giant fandom, and she does. You know, there's a gang of people. She's probably one of the most cosplayed characters. Rey is. I mean, we had one of. I mean, when we started this podcast, you know what I'm saying, one of the hosts of this podcast, Charlie, was. That's who she cosplayed. There's a lot of cosplayers that cosplay Rey. She has a big following. So it makes sense at a marketing point that you would make a movie about her. Now, we know Dave Filoni's movie is going to happen. We just don't know when. They keep pushing it out and rearranging it. The one that I'm super excited about is Dawn of the Jedi, because that takes us into the Old Republic. That opens the door for the Old Republic or pre-Old Republic era to start. You know, so that's the one I'm the most excited about, especially because I read the book, and the book is amazing. So if they can go back to that time before they even knew about before there was a dark side like that, and it's Jedi's fighting against other things, then they can get to the High Republic. They can come back in. They can start doing. They can do any Old Republic stuff, Revan, Bane, which I really hope they would do either one of those. But I can see, I kind of get an idea of the marketing strategy behind it. You know what I'm saying? So I see why they're doing it. You're going to draw in the attention of your new Star Wars fans, and your new Star Wars fans, most of the young ladies, and even men that are new to Star Wars, like really in the last, 10 so years, are sequel trilogy people. So you want to do something that has to do with a sequel trilogy characters. So I see why they would do it.
I just think a lot of Disney's just been struggling with a lot of their releases lately. Like their last 2 movies that were released flopped. And so I just think
what 2 movies?
Marvel's.
Oh, well.
Flopped, and then Wish even. Wish, just like a normal Disney movie.
But it's the same thing. I haven't even watched it, and I could already tell you the whole story. And I ain't even watched it because they haven't changed their storyline. And whenever they do change their storyline within the Disney animated stuff, they always do good. But it's the same story over and over and over again. So I want Ahsoka, Sabine, Ezra, Shin, etc. to become part of the Order of the Force. Unrelated to Luke's Jedi Order. Kyle, I don't know. I don't think the company intends to use the DOTJ books.
I think, I think what's going to happen is either Disney's going to drive Star Wars into the ground, or they're going to have to sit down, really evaluate what they want to do, and change some things. You know what I mean?
They already brought in Tim to sit down and help write the script with Dawn of the Jedi. Yeah, he's already talked about it.
Interesting.
And he's technically he's not involved. As he said, technically I'm not involved, but I have talked with the writers. Basically, you told them what to write, and they're using the book. So it's going to be, you know what I'm saying?
That'll be good.
Yeah. And he said that he was open. He was open to come in and counsel or be a counsel, whatever you say that, to the writing of the movie. And the director of that movie is a big fan of the Old Republic, and Dave Filoni is a big fan of Legends. So I see a lot of Legend stuff coming into becoming part of canon. I mean, why would you go back to the Old Republic? The only purpose of going back to anything in the Old Republic at all, or pre-Republic era, only reason to go back to them points at all is to start. You're going back to the very beginning, the start of the Jedi. You're going back to Darth Bane, the Rule of Two. You're going back to the Old Republic. You're going back to those points because you're running out of content to talk about. Now, will it be the same as what the books say? Probably not. Disney will fuck that up. But they're gonna come in and they're gonna give us these characters that we've been wanting, and which I don't understand why they would do Dawn of the Jedi. I'd go back. If I was gonna go back, I would be more of a George Lucas type. I'd start with Bane. That's 1,000 years back from before. Yeah,
but you got to think that's like Disney. Disney's not going to do that. Look at Disney. Why would they? Nothing in modern Disney shows that we would see a Bane movie. Modern Disney's all about.
Well,
all
you
about
look
this
at where they're
Dawn
going.
Of the Jedi thing.
Okay,
this
so
Dawn of the Jedi thing is perfect for modern Disney because it's got a female protagonist. It's not just all male movie like a Bane movie probably would be. Even though you got his apprentice.
Yeah,
just
but I would have went back.
Likes their female.
What I'm saying though is they're going back at the two areas that I see them. Well, there's three areas that I see Disney is starting to focus on. Okay, well, actually four. They've already been focused on after Return of the Jedi up to the beginning of the First Order. Now they're going past the First Order to where Rey and the new Jedi start. They're going back pre-Republic, so they're going back to the Old Republic era so they can hit that area right there. And then they got the High Republic, which they've already been doing within the books. Them is the areas that they're going to hit. They're going to hit before, and then they're going to, well, actually, it's because the pre-Republic, they're going to lead all the way up. What they're doing is they're leading up to the High Republic. They're going to lead up to the High Republic, then they're going to do the High Republic stuff, either TV series or movies. Then we get left off at, you know what I'm saying, where the Phantom Menace begins. Then they're going to jump, because I don't think they're going to do too much more, because they've already done Kenobi and Andor. They're set within, and Rebels. You got Rebels, you got Andor, you got Kenobi. That's set between, and Rogue One is set between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope. Now we're in between. Right now they're focusing on in between Return of the Jedi and Phantom Menace. They're looking at going beyond, so they're going back and forward. They're going back to the beginning to lead up to New Hope, or lead up to Phantom Menace, and then they're going after to start new. And they gotta do something between that, because then none of the stuff in the High Republic books makes sense. If you're reading a High Republic book and say you're not a Star Wars fan, or you only do books, because there's people out there that do not watch TV at all. You only do books. And you go back, you're not going to know who some of these characters in the High Republic are unless you go back before the High Republic. So that's what they're going to do. They're going to go back before the High Republic. That's why they're starting pre-Republic, the very beginning, and they're going to start working their way to the High Republic so they can push their High Republic movies off of their stuff, because they're right there. They'll all be good. I guarantee all the High Republic stuff that they do will be good, because they got the books there. That's why they had this whole High Republic thing that they did, because they got good writers to write good stories that they can come in and they can take the information, make a movie off of it, and make it good, especially with the content within the books, because the books is crazy. Because I still want to know what this thing that just turns Jedis into stone. You know what I'm saying? I still want to know what that damn thing is. And I won't know until they get, and they probably not going to tell us until the end with the third trimester or the third part of the High Republic saga. They did like George. They started in the middle, then they went back into earlier on, and then now they're going back to the end or after the middle. So they're doing it just like they did, them and George Lucas did. George Lucas started in the middle, then he went back, and then they went forward. That's the way they're doing the High Republic series. So I have no idea what this thing is. It's just turning people to stone. Shit, I don't get it. I have no idea what it is yet.
But yeah, any other tips or anything?
Nope, that's only 4 tips that I had. Just have fun, pace yourself, talk to other Star Wars fans, get an idea, but watch out for Star Wars fans because they can be dicks. There's some dick Star Wars fans out there. Let's see. Anthony, YouTube fan, said, lightsaber. Now with Dave Filoni as CCO, there is a much better chance that Dawn of the Jedi book will be used, but Kennedy's thinking was probably just to use the title, not the story. Well, when it first came out that they were talking about it, and they were, when they first announced it, Tim and Dave and John had already been in talks, and I guess I can't remember what the guy's name is, the director of the story, they had already talked with Tim because they had to get he holds rights to the name Dawn of the Jedi, so they had to talk to him to get the rights to use that name and to use the characters or whatever else they wanted to use. So I guarantee this is something that's being in the thing. Plus there was all you got to do is look at the news. They release shit and they talk about things that usually what they do is they say, this ain't ever going to happen. And then a year later it's happening. Just like Rey was never going to be in another Star Wars movie. Now we got a Rey movie coming out. Right. You know what I'm saying? Just like they talked Finn talking all the, what's his face talking about how much he'd never play Finn again. And he hated the Star Wars fandom and all this negativity shit. And then now he's about to be in the next, because I guarantee he's going to be in a movie. I don't know about Poe and them. There hasn't been much about them, but they always say they're never going to do something, and then they do it. So I'm pretty sure there was talks about this long before it ever came into the thing. Plus, the director and Tim are good friends, so I'm pretty sure that. Yeah.
Anthony, YouTube fan, had a question. He says, honestly, Garrison, I guess he's asking me, Garrison, can you see any way for the fans of the sequel trilogy and the non-fans of it to coalesce on a single film starring Super Rey? Not even Lucas could fix his jigsaw puzzle. I agree.
Well, no, because
I'm sorry, I don't think there's any way you get people who didn't like the sequel trilogy to want to watch more Rey content unless you rewrite the sequel trilogy and fix some of what happened.
I don't think you have to rewrite the sequel trilogy because this is a brand new story.
I know,
this is going to be a brand new story
just left
based
a bad
on
taste in people's mouths.
Yeah, but I mean, you can't go on with a bias. You can't go on with a negative bias. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of the sequel trilogy.
No,
I know.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying people won't. I don't know how many people will want to go watch that movie.
Well, you got to understand what they're looking at in marketing. They're looking at how many sequel trilogy fans that there are. And there's a shit ton of them. There's a lot of people that like the sequel trilogy. Mostly younger people.
Kyle, just because they come out with the movie doesn't mean that they did
come
their
on.
marketing.
We all knew that Rise of Skywalker.
Look at Marvel's. Obviously, they didn't do their marketing.
But they probably have 2 totally different marketing teams that handle each one. You got to remember, each one of these entities under Disney is a completely separately ran business under the Disney label.
I know.
You know what I'm saying? So you got to also understand with the marketing of Disney, you got to understand with the new stuff. This all happened when a time when everybody was on strike. You know what I'm saying? You had all the writers was on strike, all the actors was on strike. There's nobody that you can go to and say, hey, what about this? What do you think about this? How do you think we should do this? They were just doing random shit just to put out content with whoever they could get to put out content. So you can't sit back and directly look at anything that's came out in a while with a direct distinctive action on the marketing, because they were just trying to put shit out to keep money coming in. Especially because with the big failure of the damn billion whole, what was that, $69 billion they took to build that dumbass hotel that closed. Now I guess people are spraying graffiti on it and shit, all kinds of dumb shit. But you know what I'm saying? Like they have to, it's either, and this is the bad thing, they either put stuff out, generate some type of revenue, or fire a bunch of people. And that's something that Bob Iger didn't want to do. He didn't want to do layoffs. He wanted to keep the people that he had on the team, on the thing in Disney, working at Disney. So, and he said that during the interview that he didn't want to lay off people. But right now, everything is down. Everybody's stocks is down. And it's not just Disney, it's everybody. And, you know, when you go through a big turnaround, like, you know, you got all the writers is on strike, all the actors is on strike. You're making anything you can with any actor that's still working, that's not part of the guilds. And there's quite a few actors that are not part of the guild, but a majority of them are. So when you're looking at all that stuff and you're looking at the marketing strategy, you got to bring in some type of income. So you might not make the best story. You're getting some random fucking guy that probably wrote 2 or 3 B movies writing a story. And, you know, the people that you got working for you that's not part of the guild, that doesn't have anything to do with the actor strike or you just got them writing stuff, and it might not be something they're used to writing. So all that stuff plays a part. You got to look at there's a lot more to it than just popping out a movie. You know what I'm saying? You got so much shit that goes on.
I know. But you also got to think, when you put out content like that, it's not just like, oh, so what if people don't like it? That can damage your brand.
Yeah, but like, okay, so like Wish. Wish is a movie. Like, I could tell you the whole movie without ever seeing it, because every single Disney cartoon is the same. And it just matters if it resonates with the people. You know what I'm saying? Like Moana. Moana did great. It's the same fucking story as Cinderella.
Yeah.
But they did 100 years ago.
Why did Moana do great, but Wish did bad?
But people resonated with the character, and they resonated with the actors that was playing the character. You had The Rock in it. People gonna go watch it because The Rock's in it. When you ain't got them high price or high star actors in that voicing the things, doesn't do good. You know what I'm saying? And that's part of the situation. They was just pumping out something. They had to put out something. So they use characters and they use actors that are not your top brand actors that you usually would use, or you would get to play those parts. And that's the thing that happens. So marketing has to go in, and they have to figure out how to make this interesting. And sometimes it's just not possible. Sometimes people are just like, dude, I don't want to see this movie. Now the next movie they come out with, they get, you know, somebody in there that's halfway decent, and they do really, really good on that. It's all about just the way that they do it. There's too many things. And yes, but you got to understand, Disney has been putting out the same animated series for fucking 100 years or however long they've been around. And some of them make great money, some of them don't. You know what I'm saying? Some of the movies that they got, like I watched a movie that I didn't even know Disney put out. I ain't never even heard of this fucking movie. You know what I'm saying? And I guess it came out in like the 90s. I watched it the other day, like, what the hell is this movie? I'm watching it, and I'm like, this is a Disney movie? It's the same fucking movie, but I had never even heard it because it didn't do good in the box office. So it's not something it's all about who you get to act as. There's so many different cogs in the machine that is when it comes to making a movie and making it, if it's successful or not. I mean, fuck, I would never have thought Frozen would have done as good as it did. And Frozen did a fucking huge fucking number. I watched Frozen, I'm like, this shit is stupid as fuck, man. This is the dumbest cartoon ever. But gang of people liked it, but that's my opinion versus theirs. So it's just all, you know, it's just how things are done. But they had to generate revenue. You can't go through a long period of stream. Their things were down for the streaming service. You know, they just lost out a bunch of money on the hotel. They had to bring out stuff that would generate some type of income. And I guarantee you it didn't do bad. I guarantee it paid for itself and probably more. As this did.
What did?
Yeah. I guarantee it paid for itself. Whatever they took to make it, it guaranteed it paid for itself. Enough people went that are just Disney fans that just went and seen it because it's Disney.
Oh, no, Wish? That's what they're... No, but that's what we're looking at. Wish hasn't even broke even yet.
It will. It'll break even. That's one thing you can always guarantee. Disney always makes money off of everything they put out. They will make money in the end on everything that they put out. Disney is like one of the only companies that has not lost money on it they made.
Then how are they losing money? Their stock is at a 9-year low.
Yeah, everybody's stock
They
is
make
at
money
a 9-year.
on everything, then they wouldn't be decreasing in value.
But everything that they release at the movies, they make money on. Everything. I guarantee, and then plus they lie about how much it takes to make a fucking movie. You gonna tell me it took $500 million to make The Rise of Skywalker?
Yeah.
It did not take $500 million to make that shit. It took 130.
That's fraud, Kyle. That's
but
fraud.
still, and they made fucking $1 billion off of that shit.
And release false information to your investors.
Dude, they do that shit all the time, man. What are you talking? I've done short films, and you do that. You can't go, if I say, okay, I made this movie for 50 grand, nobody's going to take you seriously. But you say, I made this movie for $500 million, and that's when the investors, they don't have investors.
But you're also not a publicly traded company.
Yeah, but there's a difference. The publicly traded, there's a totally different. When you're looking at shit like that, dude, I know within the movie industry, I've worked in it before, that they fucking lie about how much they spend on fucking making movies.
Oh, I'm sure they lie.
They fucking lie like a motherfucker.
They can't lie that much.
Dude, John Wick 1, the actual cost to make John Wick 1, guess how much it was? And guess what the most expensive part was?
I don't know how much it was.
The most expensive part was paying Keanu Reeves to play in it. Of the whole movie. Yeah.
That makes sense.
And that was $20 million. They paid him $20 million to play in the movie. And that was the most expensive part of that movie. Guess how much they said it cost them to make that movie? $337 million. It did not cost that much. It didn't even cost half that much to make that movie. If Keanu Reeves is the most expensive part of that movie, was the most expensive part of making that entire movie, Keanu Reeves said this himself in his interview. He said, I was the most expensive part of that movie. They was actually looking at getting somebody else because of how much money he wanted to get paid to be in that movie, in John Wick 1.
I don't know.
Go ahead.
I'm just saying if their stocks keep dropping like this, like they wouldn't lie and say they're losing money. You know what I mean? There's no reason for them to.
Yeah,
you know
it is
I mean?
because they say they're losing money because they don't want to get corporate took over. We're losing money, so we need to incorporate different things. We need to do things. They stock dropped too much.
If you're losing money, that means your stock is decreasing.
Their stock
so
is dropping.
It's easier to be taken over.
But saying you're losing money and actually losing money is two different things.
Well, they are losing money. Look at their stocks.
Their stocks went down 9%. 9% isn't that much when you're a fucking...
They're at a 9-year low right now.
Yeah, but that don't mean shit, though.
That's a lot.
And the biggest hit is on that damn hotel that they spent all that dumb money on.
Right. Granted, a lot of that is on parks. I agree.
And you got to remember that each one of these segments within the Disney Corporation is a different segment of the company. So they could be gaining on one side of the company and losing on another side of the company. That happens all the time.
But like just in Disney Plus, like alone lost a lot of money. So it's like,
yeah, Disney Plus lost money, but then Ahsoka brought it up again. A lot of people signed back up to watch Ahsoka.
All right.
I'm telling you, 90% of the time, they only tell you half of what it actually costs. Or they only tell you whatever it costs, it was only half or less of that. That's like the number one thing you learn in film school, is you always say that it costs double the amount that what it actually cost. You learn that in film school. They tell you that. In film school, when you're a director or you're providing a show, you always... So say I was going out to get investors to invest in a movie that I was making. I'm going to tell them that it's going to cost me $300 million to make it. and it's only going to cost me 150,000 or 150 million to make that movie.
Mm-hmm.
You don't ever tell them the exact amount, and then you inflate different shit. So if you spent $30 on a hammer, the hammer costs $60. That's
Right.
exactly what you do.
Right. I get that side of it.
So they're making money, guaranteed. All right, ready to get to some. Do we got any contestants for the?
Oh yes, the
Hall
Hall of Fame. Yeah. All right. I have. Let me pull it up. We got 5 more today.
Okay.
I don't know if any of them will make it though. To be honest with you, just because I feel like we're coming down to like we've gotten a lot of the highest names on there already. But we'll see. All right, first one. I think a lot of people will know him. Bib Fortuna. I think people are familiar with him. Does he deserve Hall of Fame? I don't think so.
No.
But I think he's definitely like people know who he is. Like Jabba's main guy, Jabba's main henchman.
Yeah, but that's how you would have to say it though. If you said, "Do you know who
Exactly.
Bib Fortuna is?"
Nobody knows
they'd be
his
like,
name. Exactly.
But if they said, "You remember the Twi'lek dude, the dude with the tentacle neck
Yeah,
thing, the Jabba Hutt
Yeah,
guy,"
yeah.
they'll be like, "Oh yeah, I remember that guy." But no, he don't make the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he don't make it.
Star Wars
All
team
right.
leader says Disney owns so much stuff people don't know
That's true.
about.
Right.
That long.
They own a shit ton of stuff.
Disney, like the corporation of Disney, is like Disney owns tools, they own
It's
cars,
massive.
they own
They own
like
Fox. They own ABC. They own ESPN. Fucking. It's
they own the
wild.
History Channel.
Right. Just massive. Next one, Asajj Ventress.
Ooh, that's a hard one.
If you're a Clone Wars fan, like she's definitely like a Clone Wars like big time character. But
Yeah,
and I liked her too. Like I thought she was a good character.
but I don't think she has the. She did a lot of shit. She failed a lot too, but you know what I'm saying, she was in a lot of episodes of the Clone Wars. But she's not in no like TV shows. And then I think the other thing that kind of hinders her without being in any of the movies or any of the TV shows
Being just
is-
a Clone Wars character makes it tough.
but I mean, a lot of people know who she is. She is another highly fucking cosplayed character. Like a shit ton. Like the last Comic-Con, no, it wasn't even a Comic-Con, the last
but is she
convention I went to,
cosplayed
there was
because,
like
like-
15 girls there that was all fucking Asajj. Like,
Yeah,
damn, there was,
but that's just. I feel like that's because there's not a whole lot of like women women Jedi to cosplay as.
well, there's a shit ton
like-
of women Jedi. And there's a shit ton
Like
of
that are
women.
popular. Like she's one of the most popular women.
Yeah, but you know, I mean, you could be, I mean, you got Allura, you got, I mean, there's a shit ton of fucking Jedi women and women in Star Wars.
Yeah, but I feel
to
like
be-
she's the most easily recognizable, is what I mean. One of the most.
But does that get her in the Hall of Fame though?
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. Like Star Wars team leader said yes. I don't know. She's a
I say
very
no.
popular character.
She's super. Yeah, it's tough. I'm
I'm gonna give her a yes. I'm gonna give her a yes. I like the Asajj. I'm gonna give her a yes just because I liked her. I don't know.
I think
like,
the yeses carry it then.
yeah, I'm gonna say yes.
I mean, I say no, but that's 2 yeses. Next one, Mon Mothma.
Yeah, I would have to say yes. She's in the movie. She's in the animated series. She's in
She's in a lot now. I feel
Andor.
like she keeps
She's in freaking Ahsoka. I'd have to say yes. Her fame alone, like she might not be famous, but if you ask somebody, do you know who Mon Mothma is? They're gonna say yes. And she's done quite a bit, you know what I'm saying, as being a
think so?
leader. Yeah, she done. Well, man, that's kind of hard because that kind of goes back to like that Palpatine thing that I was talking about before. Like, you know who Palpatine is, but he didn't really do shit.
Oh
You
my
know?
god. He took over the fucking galaxy, Kyle.
He didn't do shit. Everybody else did it for him.
Bro, what the heck? I don't get
Like
it.
what? Who do you see Palpatine doing anything to? He doesn't
He's
do
a
nothing but talk
politician,
and show
Kyle.
up every once in
That's
a while.
what
That's all Mon
politicians
Mothma does.
do.
I don't know because Mon Mothma really doesn't do shit. She's like Palpatine. She didn't do shit. Like they don't really do anything.
Oh my god. It's a politician, Kyle. That's what politicians do. They don't do shit. They talk.
Yeah, but you got to do something to be in the Hall of Fame. If you didn't do shit,
Bro,
I mean, technically,
that's like saying
Mon Mothma
Donald
was a
Trump
leader
or
of the
Joe
rebellion.
Biden are not famous. Just
they-
by being that level politician, you're kind
Mon
of
Mothma didn't do shit at all, but the rebellion won, so I guess she's fucking the same as Palpatine then. So, yes.
I say yes.
They didn't do shit, though. They just showed up on screen every once in a while and talked a little bit and then walked off.
All right. Next one, we got another big time Clone Wars character, Savage Opress.
No.
Okay, good. I was gonna say no too. Why Asajj but not him?
Huh?
Why Asajj?
Because he wasn't
but not
even
him?
in that many episodes. Like, nobody really knows who's, like, if you say, you know who Maul's brother is, they're going to be like, Maul had a brother?
That's fair.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't see nobody fucking dressing up as Savage Opress at a damn fucking Comic-Con. You
That's
might
fair.
see one. When you see 30 fucking women dressed up as Asajj, you know, like, nobody knows who that dude is. He's a great character. I like this character, but, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, no, like, don't nobody know who he is. He can't be in the Hall of Fame. If we put him in the Hall of Fame, we might as well just put everybody in the Hall of Fame.
That's fair. All right. Last one from Andor, we got Luthen. I want to give it to him because he's great. But
The thing about this is, if you, like, he's famous as shit because everybody
He's
was talking
so
about him
good.
online.
he's so
Like,
good.
He's famous as shit because, like, all the news was about him. Who's this Luthen guy? Where does Luthen fall within the story? Luthen. But once again, he falls into that, like, you don't see him he doesn't really do shit.
Oh my god, Kyle!
He doesn't do shit. He just sets up everything. Andor did all the work.
That's doing shit, Kyle.
Bro, that's not doing shit. You're not doing shit.
Leaders, he's a leader. That's what leaders do. They have to
Well, then,
set stuff
in that
up,
same
organize
case, then
things,
Mon Mothma was more. I mean, we put Mon Mothma in there.
give orders.
Nah, I don't think Luthen gets in.
I don't think Luthen gets in, but it's not because he didn't do
I think
anything,
maybe
Kyle.
after the season 2, even though he's famous as shit, he didn't do nothing.
Oh my god. I say wait until season 2. But god damn.
I just had this thing. If you don't do, you're supposed to do something. Luke Skywalker fucking did a lot of shit.
Bro, define doing something. Doing something doesn't necessarily mean that you're the boots on the ground. Like plenty
That's
of famous
doing
people were
something. If
famous
you're just
for being
fucking like
leaders.
even Leia fucking shot stormtroopers and shit. Like fucking all fucking Palpatine did was shot fucking. He
Kill
killed
Mace Windu?
4 Jedis and fucking shot fucking Luke with some lightning. Other than
Bro,
that, he didn't do fucking
being
nothing.
king of the world is doing something, Kyle.
He's not doing shit. And we don't even know if he was really the one in charge. Could have been fucking Jar Jar for all we know.
Bro, that's like saying the president of the United States doesn't do anything.
Ain't shit. He don't do shit. The fucking Congress does everything. He just a face to look at. He just gets up and says speeches. He don't do shit. The
Well,
president
this
don't do
president,
shit.
That's fair. This president might not do shit, but
Especially our fucking retarded president. That motherfucker Down syndrome having motherfucker old. How is he? 100 now? 102?
holy, he's so out of it. All right. Well, that's for today. Just a quick recap. That means we have.
And he did have a badass ship. The Star Wars team leader said no, but he does have a badass ship.
He does have a badass shit.
That shit was bad. That shit was the dopest ship in Star Wars so far.
So today,
that
our
shit
2
was
new
dope.
entries into the Hall of Fame are Asajj Ventress and Mon Mothma. Wild.
Yeah.
Not Luthen.
Luthen, maybe after season 2 and he gets a little bit more fame and does a little bit more, we'll see. He did give one hell of a speech though. That was one hell of a speech. That shit made the hair on my back of my neck stand up. It was like the speech from the president in fucking Independence Day when that dude gives the speech in Independence Day. Like all the hair stand up on the back of your neck. You're like fucking proud to be a fucking American and a human. Like when he gives that fucking speech. That's how that Lucent speech was. But I think he needs a little bit more screen time.
All right, that's fair.
Okay, news and rumors.
Yeah, news and rumors. Let me hit the button. There's not much.
There was a few things. Yeah, it wasn't really a whole lot.
This is Alton Castle for the only news you need, the HoloNet News.
I felt like what kept pop. I don't know if it kept popping up for you, but Adam Driver's interview.
Yeah, I seen that.
That was everywhere. Oh my god! Everybody had to report on this.
Everybody's still giving him shit for killing Han Solo.
CNN was reporting on this, and I was like, why?
Like, because he killed Han Solo. Everybody's giving him shit still for killing Han Solo.
That big of a deal, man. That
Han Solo is definitely a fucking big deal in Star
Wars. The guy who pretended to kill Han Solo is more famous than a guy who actually assassinated a famous person. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, I guess one of the things I got is Star Wars Galaxy Star Cruiser gates blocked off in Galaxy's Edge, Disney Hollywood Studios after guests were tying ribbons to its memory. I thought that was funny. They're tying ribbons on the fucking gate to the fucking Galaxy Star Cruiser.
Why?
For the memory of it. I think it was for a gag. For a gag to say this was a fucking dumbass idea. I don't know. But they're like tying ribbons on the front of it.
All right.
And then in Florida, I read another article in Florida, they're like spray painting, they're like graffitiing the fucking...
Bro, good, yes. Trash that shit.
Like, they're just... I don't know.
Just trash it.
Just trash that shit. That was just a dumbass idea.
Yep.
What else did I have?
What else you got?
I guess Columbia launched 8 Star Wars collection inspired by Luke Skywalker, so it's like his Hoth shit. And I don't even know why they say it's all, well, I guess it's the Twin Sons, but it's like just some, they did some coats and some hats and shit that's all based on Luke Skywalker, which is kind of cool. You know what I'm saying? I always like it when other companies jump in. And I guess the biggest know that Mark Thropes died. He was one of the Star Wars VFX artists and creators of robots for Star Wars concepts, and he was 77, so rest in peace to Mark. He died, I guess, a couple days ago, 2 or 3 days ago, but I wanted to bring him up. I mean, he did a lot of work in Star Wars. Was a big part of the team for years, doing VFX and stuff. So, you know, rest in peace to him. Hate to see that he's gone. And then, oh shit. Well, never mind. I don't remember where it was at, and I canceled it. So that's all the news I had.
Yeah.
Of course, you got a whole bunch of new Lego Star Wars Black Series.
Toys like crazy.
Toys like crazy. I guess the Rex 1.6.
It's hard, bro. It's hard because like CJ was the toy guy. I don't like toys. It's hard to like follow toys news.
I still try to keep up with it, you know what I'm saying? But I guess there's like a 1.6 version of Rex from Ahsoka series that just was released. And there's a whole bunch of stuff coming out. So we'll definitely be doing an episode on like the best gifts and a lot of new stuff coming out, and probably closer to Christmas. We'll definitely be doing that. Yeah, so there's always a bunch of toys. Yeah, so the biggest news was either that Mark passed away or the Adam and Driver stuff. That was like the biggest news. The Adam Driver stuff is everywhere. Everybody else harassing
so weird. I don't
him.
know why it's so big.
Because, man, everybody loved Han Solo and he killed him, so he's still getting harassed. He'll get harassed for the rest of his life over that. You kill Han Solo, punk. There was some stuff about the Acolyte, you know what I'm saying? Just, you know, a lot of companies or a lot of different, like Tech Radar put out, I think, everything we know about Skeleton or Acolyte and Skeleton Crew, and there's been a lot of stuff about that because that's the next up and coming stuff. So, of course, somebody says X-Men star Michael Fassbender reveals whether his rumor he auditioned to play Kylo Ren in a new movie. Because Adam Driver said he's not coming back as Kylo Ren. He's already made that clear, which could be a lie. We are talking about Disney here, and they're good at making up shit. But I guess he was asking. He didn't even know who Kylo Ren was. He was like, who? But he could have been lying too, so we don't know.
I read kind of an interesting article about how the recent Filoni's golly, Dave Filoni became like chief creative officer or whatever. How that might impact like some of the video games and how they help some of the video games get better stories, get more drive behind them, stuff like that.
Because now they got to take everything through him.
Yeah.
As you know what I'm saying? You're not just going to come out with some shit and then Kathleen be like, okay, it sounds good. Like, Dave cares about Star Wars. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to say Kathleen Kennedy because, I mean, she was George's assistant for years. But Dave he loves Star Wars. He's one of those people that loves Star Wars. And from all the interviews that I watched with John loves Star Wars. I think John just gets overly done with, John's more into special effects and to CGI and stuff like that. And I think that's what some of the things that ruins John's movies and some of the stuff that John does is he just gets way too outlandish in the special effects, and it takes away from the stories. Dave cares about Star Wars.
Dave's a Star Wars nerd.
He's a true Star Wars fan. So I see it being a good thing, but at the same time, like I said before, I see it as being a bad thing too with him being the CEO because I think, or the CCO, is because I think it'll take away from his creative abilities. But that's just my personal opinion. It's just you're doing a lot more when you got to review everybody else's work, and there's constantly, I guarantee. There's constantly scripts coming in. There's constantly people coming out with new Star Wars stuff that he has to review and look through and make sure that it's going to be good before he lets it come out. So I think that's just going to take up a lot of his time, and it's going to take away from his creativity.
Right.
So I don't know. We'll have to see. But that's all I have for news.
Yeah, same.
All right, ready to get to the quote.
The quote.
I mean, the quote. Oh, my bad. The quiz.
This is Star Wars Audio Archives now.
Quiz, quote, same shit. Quiz.
We can do a quote here. I'm down with that. That's good.
I don't have no quotes right off of hand. I researched that shit a lot.
Do or do not. There is no try. That's our quote for today.
I've already used that quote on Star Wars Audio Archives.
God damn it.
Got to use a brand new quote.
All right.
Every episode got to have a brand new quote. All right, let's do the quiz.
Stop right there, you rebel scum. Prepare yourself for the Star Wars Impossible quiz. Blast them.
Okay, quiz time. Okay, I try to make these ones a little bit easier, so hopefully y'all, I know the last couple episodes I had some hard-ass questions, because I was even like, damn, these are hard as shit. Okay, question number 1. In the Resistance, officers wear badges of red and blue. What do each of these colors stand for?
Blood and courage.
Blood and courage? You mean Bloods and Crips?
Oh, there you go.
They combine together. They join forces against the Mexican mafia. They have a truce. Okay. Come on, Star Wars team leaders at work. That kind of sucks. Dion still here? Dr. Skywalker, you still here? Anthony, you still here? Come on.
I don't know,
What's the answer? 5, 4, 3, 2. Ranking year? No. All right, Garrison.
Dude, I don't know. Like I said.
Oh, really? Red is for Army, blue is for Navy.
Oh. Wow, that was a lot simpler than that was fucking stupid. Like, I'm trying to think of like the deeper meaning. Why would they choose these colors? Like, why is America red, white, blue? Like, fucking.
Okay.
I was about to start throwing out the fucking French Revolution, libertad, igualdad, fraternidad, or whatever.
Hey, I watched Equalizer 3 last night. Dude, that shit was fucking... It had a way better story than the first two, I think. It was like coming into your own type of story, but it didn't have enough killing for me. The first two Equalizers had a shit ton of killing. This one didn't have as much killing, but it had a better story. Now, question number 2. How big can space slugs get in feet? Space slug is what they flew the Falcon into in the asteroid.
Space slug. How much can it eat?
Yeah. No, how big can they get in feet?
Oh, how big can they get?
Like, how long
Why did
will
I
it be?
hear eats? What the flip? How big can they get in feet? God damn, they probably get like really long because that thing's fucking huge, bro.
Oh, it's going slow. That's what Star Wars team leader said. It's going slow.
2,000 feet.
Close, but no cigar.
That thing's fucking huge, bro. It's got to be.
You gotta think about it. They flew a ship into that fucker. Then when they tried to fly out of that shit in space, that motherfucker tried to reach out and grab them.
Oh, it's got to be like 5,000 feet. It's like a mile long. That sucker.
Nah,
It's like, what is that? 5,000 something feet?
5,000. I should know this. 5,280 feet. I lived in a mile-high city. Everything. Yeah, I think that's what it is. 5,820 feet. 5,280 feet.
Golly.
Something like that.
That's
Fuck,
where the
I lived in
metric
Colorado.
system is better.
Is a mile. Yeah, it's 5,000.
You want to know how many meters in a kilometer? Easy. You know
3
what I mean?
million
Yeah.
feet. No. Okay.
5,280 feet. Good shit.
The biggest one ever recorded in Star Wars book of fucking everything was 3,000 feet long.
Oh, okay. So not quite a mile.
Yeah, over a half a mile though.
That's over
still
half a
big.
mile. That's fucking huge.
Fucking huge. Who said the Jawa steal, they don't destroy?
Interesting. The Jawas steal, they don't destroy. That sounds like who's the chicken Mando?
The Chicken Man.
The
Is that what you said? The Chicken Man. Who the fuck is there? A Chicken Man in Star Wars now that I don't know about?
who's the chicken man? No, the
Only Chicken Man
Mando.
I know is Boba Fett, and that was the dude. He was
the mechanic lady in Mando with the crazy hair.
no.
They don't steal, they fuck. That sounds like some
The
shit.
Jawa steal, they don't destroy.
I don't know who else would say that. Jawas steal, dude. I don't know.
Come on, guys. Somebody knows in the chat. Who knows what it is? Meow 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 meow. It's going slow. Star Wars team leader said it was going slow, so I'm gonna give it a minute. 1 whole minute. Just imagine how far you would go in a minute in light speed. How far is that? 1 minute in
that's
light speed.
fucking far.
Yes, you're right. Star Wars team
Really?
leader, but his name is Krill, but it is the guy that's built IG-11. Rebuilt IG-11. Okay.
So it wasn't Mando.
Yeah, it wasn't Mando. It was just dude Krill. Remember when the Jawa stole all the parts?
Yeah,
off-
the chicken guy. I'm just kidding.
Only chicken guy I know is in Family Guy Star Wars, and he played Boba
Oh
Fett.
yeah, where they fight each other.
Okay, question number 4. Jabba the Hutt had a son that was rescued by Anakin and Ahsoka. What was the nickname they gave the little Huttlet? What was his nickname? What did they call him?
I should know this. Slug? No. Oh my god. I should know this, dude. I can't think of it. That's one of the easiest ones you asked too.
That's an easy one. I told you I was gonna ask some easy ones.
Oh, it's gonna kill me. Oh my gosh. I don't know. Someone's gonna pop up in the chat with it too.
What was the nickname they gave the little Huttlet? His name is Rotta. Like he's rotting away. It's R-O-T-T-A. Rotta.
Stinky.
Yep, that was it.
That's it.
Star
Good
Wars
job.
Simulator.
Good job. Damn it. I should have known that.
Star Wars team leaders on top of it. Who said, "My empire is forever"?
Jesus.
I don't think Jesus, he might have said that.
That's literally my kingdom is forever. My kingdom is eternal. That's literally Jesus.
Yeah, I think Jesus might have said it. It might even say it in the Bible. I don't know if he would have said his.
That is
I don't know if he would have said.
Jesus.
I don't know if Jesus would have said it.
My father's kingdom is eternal. That's literally
my father's
Jesus.
kingdom is eternal. But we're not talking about the Bible. We're talking about Star Wars here. Like I can see God saying that to like Moses or somebody. My kingdom is forever. My empire is forever. But no, it's actually somebody says it in Star Wars. I know everybody wants to say it was Palpatine, but we see it wasn't Palpatine. Palpatine died twice. They had to kill his ass twice. That's how he's not forever. He got away with it once. The second time, he destroyed himself with his own lightning. Well, you think Palpatine will learn not to shoot himself with his own lightning? When the lightning starts hitting himself, stop shooting it out your hands. Why would you just stand there and keep doing it? Kylo, nope. Okay. Queen Karina of the Great Geonosis. The queen of the Geonosis people that was popping out all the babies. She said it in the Clone Wars. She says, "My empire is forever." Okay. Question number 6. What is the capital city of Kashyyyk?
The capital city of Kashyyyk. I don't know. Dude, it sounds. I didn't even know it had a capital city. If I'm honest with you,
I didn't either until I wrote this question. Until I seen the answer and I wrote the question. That's usually how it is. I see the answer to the question and it makes me think.
are you sure
of the
it's a
question.
capital city and not just like a capital treehouse?
No, it's a capital city. They have a capital city.
They have a capital treehouse somewhere.
That's usually how. So when I come up with these questions, that's usually how it is. I'm reading through the book and I'll see something. I'll see the answer to to a question and then I write the question. I already know that I'll see the answer and then I write the question because I didn't know that shit. I was in the same position as you. Like that's the same thing. I said because she had a capital city. Thought they all just lived in the fucking trees and shit. Star Wars team leader said big tree. No, that's
Big
not
tree.
it. The big tree. The sacred tree. What do they call that shit on fucking
Oh, an Avatar?
an Avatar?
I
The
have no
sacred
idea.
tree.
The sacred tree.
No, it's Cachero. Kachirho. Cachero.
Cachero. Kachow.
Kachow. Number 7. What is the name of the native language of the Jawas?
Native language of the Jawas. Jawanese.
Pretty close though. That's
Really?
funny.
Jawanese. That sounds like an actual language. Jawanese.
It sounds like an actual world language. What do you speak?
Yeah, that's what I
Javanese?
mean. Like
Chinese. The
Jawanese.
Japanese speak Javanese. Instead of Japanese, it's actually Javanese. It's pretty close.
What do they like? Wait, so you're asking like,
What's the name of their
called?
language? They have
Okay.
a language and they have a name for it. What is the name of their language? Their native language. Because I guess some of them speak some other shit. But
Dude, I don't know. That's a great question.
all right, I'm just gonna give y'all this one. Ain't nobody gonna pick this out. It's Jawaese.
Oh my god!
Jawaese.
Literally, just if I didn't say the N, I would have been
Yep,
fine.
you would have got it. That's why I said you were close. Okay, who said Lasan was not destroyed? It was transformed. It was transformed as a part of the future destiny of our people.
What the fuck?
Who said Lasan was not destroyed? It was transformed as a part of the future destiny of our people.
That's got to be in that Rebels episode where they,
Well, of course it was in Rebels. That's the only place we see Lasat.
yeah.
See the Lasat.
Is it like, bro? I don't know the name because it's not that main guy in the group, is it? Whatever his name is.
Zeb.
Zeb. Yeah, no, it's not him.
Zeb Aurelianus.
I feel like it's
Aurelius.
on that episode where they actually like fly there and they have that other Zeb creature with
Tahi.
them.
No.
Sure.
Star Wars team leader said Tahi.
Okay, then I don't
Nope,
know.
it wasn't her. It was actually Gron, the dude, the old man.
Oh, okay.
He's the one that said it. Okay, on what planet have the Jawas created colonies like their home world? On what planets have the Jawas created colonies like their home world on Tatooine? I'm gonna give you a clue. There's 3 of them. There's only 3 other. There's
Yeah.
only 3 other planets that Jawas have colonized. They have colonies. There's Jawas all over the galaxy, but there's only 3 planets that they have colonized or have colonies on.
Jakku.
Nope.
Really? That seems like the total place for them.
Yeah. There's Jawas there, but they haven't colonized it.
Right.
I had to look it up because I asked that question to myself too when I read the answers. I was like, that ain't right. We checked Jakku, but they don't have a colony on Jakku. There's just Jawas there. Anywhere there's destroyed ships and shit that they can steal, there's
Yeah, that's why I feel like Jakku.
But there's only 3 planets other than Tatooine
like-
that they have colonized.
Damn, dude, that's a great question. I have no idea.
Okay. I didn't think anybody was gonna get that. Yeah, he said Star Wars team leader said Jakku too.
Yeah.
Jakku too. It's Alvira 7, Navarro, and Bancor. That's their 3 planets that they have colonies on. Okay, question number 10 and last and final question. Who said, well, short help is better than no help at all?
Leia.
No.
Damn. Short help is better than no help at all. Han Solo?
Yep.
Really?
Yep. Han Solo said it to Chewie when the Ewoks were helping him. He said, well, short help is better than no help at all.
Good.
And that wraps up for the quiz for this time around. So we hope this episode helps some new Star Wars fans learn a little bit about Star Wars and learn a little bit about how to watch Star Wars. And I hope, we wasn't too over rambunctious about, how to watch it. My biggest suggestion is have fun, take your time, and watch whatever George did first. You'll have a better understanding of Star Wars before you get into the Disney stuff and extended universe and all that other stuff, the comics and stuff like that. Make sure that you go and you watch the stuff that George created first. That way you'll have a better understanding of how Star Wars is. And other than that, I think that's our time for today. I think that's all we have. So we will see you guys next Saturday. And until then, may the Force be with you. Stay outrageous. Peace.
Thank you for tuning in to LSR. If you've enjoyed the show, consider subscribing so you can be notified when new episodes are released. If you would like to be a guest on the show or just want to give us some feedback, feel free to email us. You can also reach out to us on all major social media platforms. Lightsaber Radio is produced by Pickfilm Media and is a Swaycast original, starring Garrison Turcotte, CJ Elliott, and Kyle McDaniel. And don't forget to join us next time for more adventures in a galaxy far, far away.